Okay.
Okay, let's get to Greens leader, Marama Davidson.
Admission, the minister in charge of this bill puts forward that this is a cultural reset. And what I have to say here today is, Mr. Speaker, this bill is not who we are as a country. When it comes to te tiriti, well, we saw the multitudes turn out here and around the country time and time again to say toi tu te tiriti. When it comes to protecting Papatua Nuku, our people across all corners of this beautiful country cherish her. When it comes to caring for each other, our people show up for each other when we see others doing it tough. It is these values of manaki and justice and creating an Aotearoa that our mokopuna deserve that hold us together now and point to where else we need to go. We believe in public good. So, Mr. Speaker, the Green Party is strongly opposed to this regulatory standards bill because it flies in the face of everything that is good and right on this whenua we call home. Now, this bill is one of the most dangerous pieces of legislation that this House has seen. Madam Speaker, it seeks to destroy the very foundation of who we are. It seeks to remove te tiriti o Waitangi from lawmaking. This bill would penalise governments by way of government payouts if corporations' property is impacted by any rules, including those designed to safeguard nature and people. It would put private property above protecting the environment or public safety or Indigenous rights, and it is the ideological push of a minor party with a leader who we've just seen this morning is quite triggered by brown women in this House, with a PM unable to show true leadership against such a threat. Once again, we have a Prime Minister unable to uphold the fabric of our country. Once again, we have a Prime Minister neglecting his duty of care for the safety and well-being of the people and our living systems. This guise behind this bill, the pretend rationale, is to improve lawmaking, which is, like this government's budget, BS. Madam Speaker, this country already has a robust check in place for lawmaking. It has existed for decades and is considered actually one of the best checks in the world when it comes to non-partisan lawmaking that aligns with our founding values. It is dangerous for this government to be overriding the non-partisan nature and the already well-established norms of good lawmaking through what is called the Legislative Design and Advisory Committee, LDAC. We have talked in this House already. We've got something. It has been working for a long time. We do not need this bill. It is not solving a problem. It is pushing an ideological culture reset, one that is not us. Now, one could ask, how do we know what our country values when it comes to lawmaking? Well, history has seen this bill's predecessors defeated 3 times already over the past couple of decades. Defeated because it was always clear to the masses that this bill rips apart who we are. It has failed every time so far because the legal consequences of this are nasty. This bill would put our country into a stranglehold, and I use the term purposefully because this is a legislative, constitutional and political violence in favour of benefiting corporations and the uber wealthy few. So, Madam Speaker, what I'm trying to make clear here is that this bill has failed 3 times already because no one was careless enough to let it through. Elected representatives time after time after time were smart enough to stop it. So to our Prime Minister, let me be clear, is this really the mould, the legacy that our Prime Minister wants to leave? Finally, someone careless enough to let this bill through. A PM who sought power at the cost of our nation's constitutional heart. Wow. It is not too late for the PM to save his reputation from this. This scenario has the vibes and visions of countless leaders who were able to protect this Parliament from this sort of legislation until this current Prime Minister. There is still time. There is still time for him to stand against the evil of this legislation. And, Madam Speaker, I am really proud instead that the Greens continue to offer the direction for where our country needs to be pointing, for upholding the very things that we value the most, that our people all across the country are very clear. We care for each other. We care for mokopuna. We can have a different system that stops upholding the rights of the few, and I'm proud of the Green Party for what we offer and for voting against the Regulatory Standards Bill. Thank you.
She's definitely making the grey the highlight.
The grey.
Well, Marama Davidson is really like embracing going grey.
Yeah, it's a good look. But yeah, okay, all right. So references to the treaty in the bill? No, there's still no reference to the treaty in this bill. Look, where do I even begin? Again, this is
the one that was most redacted, or I read the regulatory impact statement for. Regarding to tiriti, and it seemed like it was 40% redacted.
Yeah, well, that's a common theme. There seems to be a common theme with this government. But yes, the regulatory impacts. The bill. Oh my God, words. My dyslexia, man, it's killing me today. Okay, words. Regulatory standards bill. There's no reference to the Treaty of Waitangi. I checked. Control F that shit. Yeah, we can go all day. So Waitangi, no, nothing turns up. Wonderful. So Bill, and most of the complaints about the proposal were around the lack of reference to the treaty. So yeah, I could go over the proposal. There was no reference to the treaty. In fact, the document states in addition it is not proposed that the bill would include a principle relating to the Treaty of Waitangi. There's no reference to the environment or New Zealand's international obligations either. And most of the complaints in the summary report that I posted in the chat earlier, most of the arguments were based around that. They were environmental arguments. They were arguments centered around the Treaty of Waitangi, and they were centered around our international obligations. And I actually looked at the citations that David Seymour had put in his proposal, right? And he was talking, oh yeah, okay, productivity is an issue, and I had a look at it by the Treasury.
International political obligations, not even what the people demand.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what I was saying before. Productivity by the numbers, right? In that report that was released in May 2021, there was no reference or lack of reference to the RMA being the primary reason for why we have productivity lacks. Fucking hell. Productivity reductions.
What?
Yeah, sorry. It's just so much I have to go over. And it's such a clusterfuck of a bill that I'm losing my train of thought because there's so much that I have to keep track of.